Over my right shoulder, I've got Castiglione di Sicilia, which is a province of Catania. And I'm gonna make a really amazing little fish dish today, which is cooked on the barbecue, highlighting the flavors of the Oleana carciofi. I'm actually gonna make a stuffing with those carciofi with some pangrattato, which is breadcrumbs, using a local method of lemon leaves, and actually wrap meat patties in the lemon leaves and grill them. I'm gonna wrap the fish in the lemon leaves, which will give the fish a beautiful flavor. The sun's absolutely belting down right now, and I have to cook this dish Sicilian style, hence the sunglasses. The grill's ready to go, and I'm gonna get going with this fish recipe. So I've got some bread here, which is pretty much day-old bread, and I've just torn it into small pieces and put it on a baking tray. I've popped it in an oven on about 60 degrees really. I have to remember that I'll be cooking this fish with those lemon leaves wrapped around there, which will give a beautiful underlying subtle flavor. Under the leaves, I'm gonna put some rosemary stalks actually in cavities within the fish. So that'll be introducing a lot of flavor into there as well. So for one fish, which will feed 2 people, I'm gonna take about 5 of these artichokes. So these will be the real kind of hero of this dish really, and just run through them with a knife just a couple of times. I don't want to sort of mash them right down because I really want them to have, I guess, a textural component in here as well. It's a little bit of chopped parsley. And I also want to get just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil into there, not too much. I'm going to put a couple of anchovies through here, and they're almost going to act as my seasoning for this. And if you don't like anchovies, that's fine. Leave them out and just hit this with a little bit of salt into there. So I'm just going to run through these with a knife. You don't have to chop them absolutely finely, and they can go straight into here. So I've got a beautiful local lemon here. It's going to take some zest. So with this, you need to use your hands to really squash the bread in with the artichoke there, because what we want to do is get a lot of the liquid from the artichoke into the bread so we have that underlying flavor throughout. So it's really important you mix everything together there. If you find that the mixture is too wet, it's not such a good thing. So just add a little bit more bread into there, because we're also going to have moisture coming from the fish into the stuffing. So it needs to be quite a tight stuffing. I'm going to pop this stuffing into a spiegler, which is like a baby sea bass, or a spiegler as my friend in the market called it this morning. I've scaled and gutted it, but I've also made 3 incisions in the skin here, which apart from helping it cook really evenly, are really great to add flavors into. So I'm going to take a handful of the stuffing, and you want to kind of compress it in your hand as much as you can at this stage of the game, and then push it into the cavity and really push it into there. And then just give it a little bit of a flatten down with your hand so it resembles its natural shape. And then we want to take a couple of sprigs of rosemary and push them into here also. And if you choose to, you can put some garlic into here too, which is lovely. And repeat the same thing for the other side. I'm using rosemary to push into the cavity of this simply because it's a really robust woody herb and it's going to withstand the cooking time on the barbecue here. Basil or parsley will just burn away. So I've got 4 of the biggest lemon leaves I could get my hands on right now. Obviously bigger fish, you need more leaves. 4 will do the job beautifully for this. This is really easy. 2 underneath, 2 on top, just to cover the kind of meaty surface area of the fish. Secure it with string and we put it straight on the grill. It's really important to use quite a hot grill, otherwise the fish will stick while it cooks. While the fish is cooking, we can pull together the black olive sauce, which is really, really easy. I've got some pitted Oleana black olives here. I'm going to roughly chop these olives. You want to keep some texture in there. I don't want them to be too fine. I'm going to take 1 clove of garlic. When I'm chopping garlic, I always use a little pinch of salt into there. There's so much flavor in the moisture of this garlic, you just can't afford to lose it. So it's absolutely imperative that by using a little bit of salt, we pick up all that beautiful moisture that always ends up on a chopping board, or even worse, in a garlic crusher. So I got this chili at the market this morning. I'm just going to finally chop some of that and put it through here as well. Chili in this recipe is optional. I love chili, but I think sometimes we can get a little bit carried away with it. And straight in the bowl. So I'm just finally chopping a small handful of parsley, which I'll pop through after I've brought this sauce together with the olive oil. So I've got some cold pressed olive oil, which I'm just going to pour into there just to bring this together. We want it to almost be like a really loose kind of tapenade consistency. So into here I'll put the finely chopped parsley, and do this at the very, very end so it stays really nice and fresh. If you're using marjoram, you could do it at this stage of the game as well. Last ingredient, a little bit of lemon zest into there, just to give this a bit of punch. I can give it a bit of a lift with a spatula and feel straight away that it's not sticking, which is a really good sign. Very carefully flip it over and look at that. These leaves amazingly aren't burning whatsoever, and they're really quite moist, which is actually stopping them from burning. Fish has been cooking about 7 minutes each side now, and it is ready to go. So carefully pop it onto a board, and before I serve it, I want to get rid of the leaves and the string that are holding the leaves onto there. So just use a sharp knife or scissors to remove that. Discard this. Wow. And just pull the leaf back and then repeat for the other side. And if you want, you can actually take the rosemary out as well. So this is ready to serve, and you could actually serve it on these lovely charred lemon leaves if you wanted to. I'm going to pop it straight onto the plate. It almost doesn't need anything else right now, but we've got this black olive sauce. So I'm just going to drizzle off to the side, and that's it. I think it's good enough to eat. So here we have another use for Oleana's carciofi, which is always the hero of an antipastal plate, has now become the hero of the stuffing of my grilled fish dish in Sicily.